Gaming on the Nexus 5. Quite frankly, it is glorious. It really is fantastic. This is one of the fastest, smoothest devices for gaming I have ever used, especially on a mobile platform. In all honesty, the frame rate that we're now getting on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 means that you're getting 60 frames a second in nearly all of the games that we really care about. To the point where actually some of these games are up there with PS Vita. You know, I've been playing Killzone Mercenaries on the PS Vita, and you know, it's pretty close now. A lot of it comes down to those high frame rates, because you can, where necessary, turn all your graphics up if the game provides it and still see no frame rate drop out. When you've got games like this one as well, I mean, it's fantastic. It's one of the best experiences I've ever had on a mobile device, and it really is thanks to that Snapdragon 600 processor. And obviously a good chunk of this is also coming from the increased graphical effects that were introduced in Android 4.3. So this is Asphalt 8 on the Nexus 5. It's obviously one of the best games currently on, well, any mobile platform really, and the Nexus 5 really shows off what this game is capable of, or vice versa, depending on which way you want to look at it. But certainly when we've been playing this game on the Nexus 5, no slowdowns, no glitching particularly, just a very nice, smooth experience that is well worth getting. It's obviously a very difficult thing to convey quite how nice this game looks. Oops, apart from when I do that. Because you're obviously seeing this on a second display, as it were. It's been recorded once, and it is obviously quite a blurry game with all of that motion blur going on. But overall, it just runs beautifully on the Nexus 5. There is nothing here I would kind of be grumbling about whatsoever. You know, Gameloft do get an awful lot of flack, but this particular series of games from them has always been fantastic, and it always pushes the devices to their absolute limit. And I think with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 chip in here and the Adreno 330, then you know, it's kind of found the sweet spot as far as I'm concerned. The frame rates are absolutely spot on and are very stable, and the gameplay just works beautifully on this device. It really is. It's an absolute cracker. And Combat 4. Another title that we all really care about when it comes to mobile gaming, a first-person shooter, and a great way to really show off the frame rate and general smoothness of the Nexus 5. At no point when I've been playing this game have I seen any slowdown. What I have seen is a vastly improved frame rate over previous devices, specifically over the Galaxy S4. The game just flies on here. Nexus 4 felt at times slightly janky. It would stall out in strange places, and the frame rate didn't feel like it was consistent. Here we have a very consistent frame rate, and it just feels beautifully smooth. To the point where, in my opinion, it's now actually playable. Where previously it wasn't always the most playable of games due to the frame rate dips, etc. It does feel like the Snapdragon processor is really doing a great job here. It was a very long-range knife kill. Good old Gameloft bugs, eh? Nice when they work in our favour. But anyway, but as you can see, modern combat, no problems here. It looks fantastic. This is probably, next to the Galaxy Note 3, the best way to play this particular game. Certainly if you're looking for really high frame rates anyway. Absolutely glorious. Love it. Die, nondescript bad guy, die! This is Riptide GP2. This is obviously another really high performance game. It makes incredible use of water effects and so on, and so it's one of those titles that is great for showing off what your device can do. Now obviously, because it's a gyroscope game, you're going to have to excuse me while it tilts around the screen a little bit. But the frame rate not always as consistent as it could be on here, but a lot of it I put down to being game developer issues more than anything else. It is very difficult to simulate water and speed like this on a mobile device, and so occasionally you will see it just dip out a little bit. I should really be braking into these corners, but never mind. It's not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination, because 99.99% of the time the game is absolutely spot on, but there is just the occasional dip in the frame rate. seems to be mostly when you're going around kind of bends. And it has to be expected as the fill rate kind of goes up quite considerably at that point. But overall, it's a beautiful looking game, and it always has been. And on the Nexus 5, works absolutely fine. No major problems, nice and good to look at. And like I say, just the occasional bit of what you would perceive as slowdown. Just the frames just dropping a little tiny bit, but nothing major. No major problems here.